To get out of an arranged marriage, I pretended to be mute for 6 months. But I still ended up married to Grant, my creepy, disabled uncle from the city's elite inner circle. Since Grant's leg was busted, I had to do absolutely everything for him. One day, I was so exhausted I was seeing stars. I bit down hard on his shoulder just to stop myself from cursing him out. But then, comments started appearing in front of my eyes. LMAO, they're both pretending and it's killing them. Girl, you can actually say it out loud. Our boss here loves dirty talk. That creep's leg healed a long time ago. He's just a pervert who likes watching her take the lead. That was it. I snapped. Grant, you're a fucking useless piece of shit. Grant paused for a second, then smiled and gently rubbed my lips. Oh. Is a useless man's leg really so useless? Funny how it managed to cure your voice. I'm the story's villainess. Before I came to my senses, I drugged the male lead. But I never got the chance to act. The innocent female lead did. When the male lead sobered up, he hunted me across the globe. When he couldn't catch me, he started crushing my family's business. The company took a massive hit. My dad, overwhelmed, started looking into an arranged marriage to save us. But no one wanted to touch our family's mess, let alone a spoiled, arrogant brat like me. So my dad set his sights on Grant. Grant was a major player in our city's high society. He was dark, cold, and utterly ruthless. He was also my dad's friend and, by extension, my uncle. Back when I'd drugged the male lead, the guy had grabbed me by the throat and forced the rest of the spiked alcohol down it. Grant rescued me, but then he tied my hands with his tie. He made me kneel in his family's ancestral hall and struck my hands over and over with a disciplinary ruler. He was so fierce I was terrified, but the drug was kicking in, and the feeling was unbearable. That day, in front of all his ancestors, I made a move on him. I even knocked a wheel off his wheelchair. After that, I ran. Now, Grant was one of the people hunting me down. My throat was already wrecked from being choked, chugging hard liquor, and then screaming and crying for hours in a state of shock. I lost my voice completely. I left a letter for my family and went abroad to get treatment. 6 months later, I was dragged home from a club with deafeningly loud music. I pointed to my throat, trying to signal. The Grant family would never agree to him marrying a mute. My dad said, "It's because our family's influence has waned and you're mute that his family is forcing him to marry you. They know he won't gain anything from it. Besides," he added, "he's disabled himself. What's the big deal if you're mute for a bit?" On our wedding night, I was shivering. My dark uncle rolled his wheelchair over to me. He gripped my chin, his fingers pressing against my neck. "You're mute?" I nodded, trembling under his touch. I'd heard what happened to people who crossed Grant. The man was truly vicious. And I hadn't just made a move on him. I was being forced on him in marriage. I was honestly scared he might kill me. Good. The walls in this house are pretty thin. Grant patted my head and handed me a small box. "My leg makes things difficult. You'll have to help me." I stared at the box in my hands, feeling it burn through my skin, completely at a loss. That sick pervert. Was he really planning to make a move on his own niece, who was 8 years younger than him? Scared? I nodded, then shook my head. I'm Mia Jiang, a notorious heiress. When have I ever been scared? I got on my knees, my hands trembling as I started to figure it out. Grant sighed, then lifted me up and sat me on his lap, facing him. He guided my hands, teaching me how to operate the wheelchair. "You're a beginner, Mia. Don't be in such a rush. Sit tight. Don't fall off. This wheelchair is the best quality in the country. You can be a little bolder, Mia." My uncle really was useless. I had to do everything for him, personally. Every time, I'd be exhausted to the point of collapse, but he'd still force me to keep going. A month later, I was so sleepy my eyelids were about to close for good. I bit down hard on Grant's shoulder to keep from cursing him out. If he found out I'd been faking being mute for this long, who knows how he'd torment me. I rubbed my eyes and cursed him silently in my head. Suddenly, I saw a few lines of glowing text appear before me. LMAO, I'm dying. They're both faking it and it's killing them. Hey girl, you can actually cuss him out. Our boss loves dirty talk. Honestly, our uncle is suffering too. He can't move, he can only watch you take the lead. The man is about to explode, explode, explode. I bet the heiress still doesn't know his leg is already healed. But, you know, he just loves watching his baby girl take initiative. Please, just curse at him once. We want to hear it. I turned to look at Grant. A drop of sweat from his temple fell onto my collarbone. His usually cold eyes were filled with lust, and he was suppressing low gasps. His hand was clamped around my waist, the veins on the back of it bulging. I decided to test the waters. My voice was dry and hoarse. Uncle. Grant froze for a second. Then I let him have it. Uncle, you are so damn useless. The hand on my waist suddenly tightened. Say that again? My lips trembled as I unleashed all my recent frustrations. What? Can't hear me? Your legs are shot, and now your ears are going too. Fine, I'll say it clearly. I said. You're terrible at this. You're completely useless. Grant swept my hair back behind my neck. He stared at me, his eyes filled with undisguised amusement. Oh. Night fell, the darkness deepening. Grant's fingers traced my lips. Is a useless man's leg really so useless? Funny how it managed to cure your voice. Asshole. I locked the bedroom door as I threw my clothes on. His leg was perfectly fine, and he'd been lying to me. But I didn't dare expose him. What if he flew into a rage and found new ways to get back at me? The best solution was to run. Clubbing, street racing, golf, parties, horse races, hiring male models. As long as I was having enough fun, Grant would never be able to pin me down. That weekend, I met up with my usual crew to play pool. They were all surprised to see the new guy I had with me. Aren't you simping for Sean anymore? He was looking for you the whole 6 months you were gone. Not interested. I'm over it. Over it, sure. Who'd believe that? Anyway, who's the new curly-haired guy? He's gorgeous. The curly-haired guy was Chris, a model. My bestie was helping the second son of the Collins family pick out clothes and asked for my opinion. I wasn't impressed by the clothes, but I was impressed by the guy wearing them. It's our sweet curly-haired boy who only has eyes for the villainous. He can be sweet or fierce, gets jealous, and can be clingy. His body is insane, and he becomes an overnight sensation after switching to acting. The villainess hired him specifically to piss off the male lead, and the poor baby fell for her, hard. Has everyone forgotten our uncle? When he finds out she's having fun with someone else, he's going to go crazy. The four-way disaster scene is going to be epic. I shoved a pool cue into Chris's hand. Take 5 shots. I'll give you $5,000 for every ball you sink. Mia, your dad is working his ass off just to stabilize the company, and you're out here blowing money. I can live without love. But I can't be ugly, I can't be poor, and most of all, I can't lose face. My dad spoils me. They didn't know I was spending Grant's money. Chris's skills were just okay. I came up behind him, my arms wrapping around him to guide his hands on the cue. The tips of his ears turned bright red. With hands this beautiful, how can you not sink a single ball? He looked down, his eyelashes casting shadows on his cheeks. I don't want you to lose too much money. This kid really knew what to say. It's not a loss if it's for you. The 5 shots were over. I pinched his cheek. Go have fun. You're really over Sean. That's wild. Sean Song? What's he to me? Just a little entertainment. Ahem. Someone coughed, giving me a pointed look. I bent down, my eyes level with the cue stick. Suddenly, I felt a warm body press against my back. A dark voice whispered in my ear, "Is that right? Just entertainment." I jumped. It was Sean Song. His hand gripped my waist, his thumb tracing slow circles. "I was wondering why you disappeared for 6 months. Turns out you found a new toy." "Ah, it's our male lead. Let go of the villainess before the female lead gets mad." The female lead ran away that night. This is where she and the male lead are supposed to meet, but at this point, he doesn't have feelings for her yet. One of the most painful parts of this story is when the male lead flirts with the villainess just to make the female lead jealous. Oh man, I'm worried about how she's going to get out of this. I'll get out of it however I can. I forcefully broke free from Sean's grasp. Of course. I fiddled with my earring. After meeting other people, I realized you're not all that, Sean. Sean suddenly grabbed my wrist. You think you can just leave whenever you want? Life doesn't work that way. He sneered. Guess what? I have evidence of what you did to me. My heart clenched. But then I remembered, my dad and Grant must have taken care of it. Damn this stupid plot. If this were me now, I'd never do something as dumb as drugging someone. Did what? A few of our friends asked, eager for drama. Sean lit a cigarette and said slowly, something terrible. How terrible? Don't tell me Mia secretly climbed into your bed. Sean blew out a puff of smoke. Committing a crime and then running away, isn't that a bit messed up? The smoke ring drifted towards me, choking me and making my throat burn. I slapped him across the face. Try blowing smoke in my face again. Sean licked the corner of his lip, a smirk forming. His cold gaze fell on me. It made me certain that if we weren't in public, he would have strangled me right then and there. The male lead is so hot. And the villainess is so badass. This problematic ship is so good. Do you have any morals? The villainess drugged him, how can anyone still like her? So what if I'm into this? I'm reading a novel, can't I have some excitement? Besides, is the male lead any better? Blowing smoke in someone's face is either a provocation or a sexual advance. Chris suddenly appeared and pushed Sean away. Sean chuckled. You think she's some saint? Why are you so devoted? Chris took my wrist. Mia, let's go. Mia. Sean stopped me. Why don't we finish this game? If you win, I'll leave your family's business alone. Fine. It didn't matter if I won or lost. The outcome would be the same. Sean went first. As expected of the male lead. He turned the game around in a single shot. Of course, thanks to a childhood spent playing games, I was no slouch either. So, when two evenly matched players face off, sometimes luck is all that matters. Only a few scattered balls were left on the table. The atmosphere was tense. People started whispering. I mean, Mia was such a simp. Sean's not the type to cause trouble, but she pushed him so far he had to go after her family. Fuck you, Sean is the one bothering me now. This is so frustrating. TSK, I missed the shot. Still too impulsive. It's the same with playing pool as it is with finding a man, Sean taunted. A man. I focused on my next shot. Who's that? He's gorgeous. Too bad he's in a wheelchair. Shoo, be quiet. That's Mia's uncle. He's a heavy hitter. What was Grant doing here? Our marriage wasn't public. Otherwise, this would be a completely different scene. I could feel a faint gaze fixed on me. I remembered when his leg wasn't injured. He was the one who taught me how to play pool. Aim high. A steady voice came from behind me. Sean scoffed, clearly not taking him seriously. The next moment, the room erupted in cheers. I had cleared the table. Sean didn't look too happy. Nice skills. I straightened up, leaning my hands on the back of the pool table and tilting my head with a smile. "Uncle, what are you doing here?" Grant steered his wheelchair toward me. "Came to drag a certain runaway home." "Uncle, I was just out having fun for a few days." Okay, I'll go home now." I fluffed my hair and headed for the door. Grant followed me. Hilarious. As if I'd actually go home with him. The moment I was outside, I made a break for it. But it was like he'd anticipated it. 3 men suddenly appeared out of nowhere. I froze. Grant gave them a look. The burly bodyguards walked over and tied my hands. I laughed, exasperated. But none of them were laughing. I stopped laughing. The other end of the rope was in Grant's hand. "Grant, are you fucking walking me like a dog? I'm already tied up. Where am I going to run?" Grant gave me a cold, humorless smile. "Hard to say. After all, my leg is pretty useless. I can't keep up with you." He was dressed in an expensive black suit and slim leather shoes, his wheelchair glinting coldly. His hands were folded in his lap, the rope wrapped around his long, elegant fingers. The hallway was a bit dark. And very quiet. The only sounds were the friction of the wheels on the floor and the clack of my high heels. "Damn, you two, don't be so bold in public." The useless comment is really sticking with him, ha ha ha. God, this is so hot. Who gets me? This scene. It feels like Grant could just destroy Mia. And her outfit is so sexy, a red dress, her hands bound. Even though I'm a fan of the male lead, this uncle-niece ship is just too good. Wait, is that the male lead in the background? Why does his expression look so off? He looks kind of sinister. Grant didn't untie me until we were back home. He casually reeled in the rope, bit by bit, until I was standing right in front of him. Grant hooked an arm around my waist and pulled me toward him. His thin eyelids closed gently. He leaned in, his sharp nose brushing against my side. My dress was made of thin fabric, and I could feel his warm breath right through it, searing my skin. "Don't. Mia, you smell like someone else's perfume." I flinched. It was Chris's cologne. I had only meant to use him to prove I was completely over Sean. I hadn't actually intended to do anything. It's Sean's cologne. You know how much I hate him now, but he just had to come and bother me. He even blew smoke in my face. I bent down. "Uncle, smell for yourself if you don't believe me. I despise him." "Uncle, you have to make that bastard pay." At that moment, I had no idea. As I bent over, my collar gaped open, and my chest heaved from my agitated state. Grant's gaze darkened. He gripped my chin, his thumb stroking my skin. Then he leaned down and kissed me. It was gentle at first, like he was savoring a delicate flavor, but then the kiss turned into a storm. I tried to push him away, but with my hands tied, I was powerless. Finally, when my body went limp against his legs, he let me go. Grant thoughtfully wiped the corner of my mouth. "Not bad. No smoke smell in your mouth. I'll assume you're telling the truth for now." "It is the truth." Grant untied the rope, leaving a red mark on my wrist. "Go take a shower. Wash that smell off." I stumped off to the bathroom indignantly. Paranoid old man. That possessiveness is off the charts. Who understands how hot it is when Mia goes limp at his feet, and he's there, one hand gripping the rope, the other tilting her chin, looking at her like he wants to devour her whole. Can we talk about Mia's figure? I want to bury my face in my big sister's soft, fragrant 36DS. Grant was too much of a psycho. I had to get away from him, and soon. But the cash I had on hand, plus my cars and bags, only amounted to a couple $100,000, just pocket money. I needed to find a way to make some real money. Right, Grant was a top finance grad from an Ivy League school. He was a genius at playing the stock market. If I gave him my money, my fortune would double. When I came out of the shower, Grant had changed into loungewear. He had a pair of gold-rimmed glasses perched on his nose and a laptop on his lap. He was working. Even though this man lived an extremely healthy lifestyle, he loved tea, didn't smoke or drink, and carried himself with a refined grace. You should never be fooled by his appearance. It was all a perfect illustration of a refined scoundrel. He was a beast in bed. I scurried over like a suck-up, massaging his leg and making tea. "Uncle, have some tea." "You want me to drink tea this late at night? Are you trying to keep me up?" Of course not. This is a special Longjing I got from a friend. It's incredibly hard to find. I saw how hard you were working, and how much you worry about me, so I brought it to honor you." "Oh. That wasn't the reaction I was expecting. It's a shame to have such fine tea brewed by your hands. You drink it or don't. I'm done serving you. Come here." "What for?" He had me sit down. "I'll teach you how to brew tea." "I don't want to learn." "Oh, well, in that case, I just thought you had a favor to ask me." I suddenly remembered that I did. "I'll learn." Grant sat beside me. First step, warm the cups. I knew this part. I'd watched him make tea so many times I'd picked up a few things. Wrong. For Longjing, you need to use a high pour technique. Pour the water from a height so the leaves tumble and release their aroma. I muttered about how complicated it was but did as he said. It's hot. By the time I had to pour the tea, my hands were red and stinging. You'll get used to it after a few tries. Grant held the rim of the cup, his index finger pressing down on the lid as he tilted it, letting the tea pour out. The whole motion was seamless. He took a small sip. "It's okay. Average. All tea tastes the same. You're just being difficult." Grant reached over to pinch my earlobe. His hand, warmed by the hot tea-ware, felt a little feverish. "You've had your fun. Time for bed." I shrank back, suddenly remembering my real mission. I swung myself around and straddled him. "Uncle, after all that tea, I can't sleep." Grant's eyes instantly darkened, and his voice grew hoarse. "Your hands are covered in tea stains. Don't touch me." I blew a soft breath in his ear, pressing against him. "Uncle, smell me. Isn't the other scent all washed away? And don't my hands smell like your favorite tea?" In the end, I used my body to beg my dear uncle to play the stock market for me. "Stocks? Let's try a practice run on you first." Such a dirty joke. "But I can't guarantee you'll make money." "Uncle is so amazing, you'd never lose." I feel like I was having a nice, wholesome lesson on tea ceremonies, and then suddenly the car went 100 miles per hour on the highway. Am I the only one who thinks her hands are covered in something other than just tea stains? "Mia, I won't say what's really on your hands." "And me, my poor little hands are burning up over here." Uncle agreed way too fast. I have a feeling this old man has a trick up his sleeve. Of course, I didn't give Grant all my money. If he lost it, I'd be screwed. But I didn't dare go out and party anymore either, now that he had me on a leash. He brought me to his company, giving me the glorified title of assistant. The old pervert was obviously getting ready to play some cosplay games with me. I was dozing off on the sofa. "What did you think of my meeting with Mr. Collins just now?" I gave him a half-assed analysis. "We know your competitor is Sean Song, and we know that both your offers are pretty decent. Uncle, you have to crush him. A husband's power is his wife's glory." To help Grant, the most important step was to disrupt the enemy's morale. I paraded Chris around right under Sean's nose. Behind Grant's back, of course. At an auction, I even outbid him for an item he wanted. Apparently, Sean had been trying to connect with a very traditional and influential figure. He'd specifically found out that the final, hidden auction item was an antique jade bead necklace. Sean's assistant initially thought there wouldn't be much competition. But he didn't expect me to jump into the fray. Thanks to my love of shopping, I didn't hesitate. Before he could even get a call back to his boss, I immediately raised the bid by $1 million. Sean didn't just lose the necklace, he lost the opportunity to partner with the big shot. That night, while I was out celebrating with a drink, I got a call from Sean, of all people. "Mia, what's your game?" "What do you mean, what's my game?" "Name your price." "I'll buy it." "Sorry, I'm giving it to my husband." "Mia," Chris suddenly spoke up. "Mia, have you lost your mind? He's just some random model. Are you really spending a fortune on him? Back when you were simping for me." "Sorry, you're not worth me spending millions on. I think my husband is more deserving." Hearing Sean so flustered was pure bliss. After I hung up, though, Chris looked a little hurt. "Mia, so you're already married?" "That's right. I gave the necklace to Grant." I scratched Chris under the chin. "Don't be sad. When I'm rich, I'll start an entertainment company and make you a star." Chris took my hand and rested his cheek on it. "Mia, am I really the other man?" With his curly hair and double eyelids, Chris looked like a sad little puppy. "No, you're not. I used him for my own amusement, he used me for resources. We're both just getting what we want." But Chris was very obedient. When I told him not to wear cologne, he stopped. Why can't she have both the uncle and the kid? I'm such a sucker for the sad puppy character. I am so ready for the drama. I want to see Mia get wrecked by her uncle. The kid is true love. But unfortunately, after 8 years of hard work, he's still just an employee. It's okay, puppy, you belong to all of us. I'm starting to fall out of love with the male lead. It feels like he's just having a meltdown because the villainess isn't simping for him anymore. Is he really that petty? Honestly, I already didn't like him back at the pool hall. When I got home, I couldn't wait to ask Grant how much money he'd made for me. Lately, I'd been seriously considering starting an entertainment company. I could sign any handsome guy or beautiful girl I wanted. Just thinking about it made me happy. I don't know. I haven't looked recently. Open the laptop and see for yourself. Grant was still working. You weren't even watching it for me? Seriously, what? The moment I opened the laptop, I nearly fainted from anger. I'd lost almost everything. There was barely anything left. I slammed Grant's file shut. Did you do this on purpose? You're a stock market genius. How could you lose this much? Grant leaned back in his office chair. The fabric of his gray pajamas was soft, the top button unfastened, revealing his prominent Adam's apple. Behind his gold-rimmed glasses, his eyes were dark and mesmerizing, like a calm vortex. A low chuckle rumbled in his throat. In business, you win some, you lose some. I don't believe you. I sat on the desk and propped my foot on his leg. You're just as useless as your leg. Grant, I want a divorce. I was so furious I wasn't thinking straight. I didn't see Grant's expression darken instantly at my words. He grabbed my ankle. A divorce? He bit out the words, a terrifyingly grim smile on his face. Yeah. It was a business arrangement anyway. What's wrong with a divorce? Grant took off his glasses and tossed them onto my lap. My thin nightgown rode up a little. He covered his eyes with one hand, his other hand stroking my ankle. Mia, there are consequences for saying the wrong thing. The glasses were cool against my skin, but Grant's hand was even colder. I instinctively tried to pull my foot back. A divorce, Mia, I'm not a nice person. You can't just say the D word. Mia, even if you don't care about your life, think of your back. Damn, who understands this move? Covering his eyes with the back of his hand, trying to suppress his possessiveness, but his other hand still won't let go of her ankle. Our uncle was never the favorite in his family. Mia, you can't leave him. Dark room warning. In the original book, the uncle locks the villainess up and does things to her. I thought that plotline wouldn't happen since they got married, but now I'm not so sure. Who knows what crazy thing Mia will do next? I scrambled onto his lap in a panic. No divorce, no divorce. I was just talking. It's just that you lost all my money. I was just so angry. I pulled his hand away from his face. I kissed his eyes, then his mouth. Don't be mad. I won't mention it again. I'll stay by your side forever. I won't go anywhere. The ice in Grant's eyes gradually melted. He sighed, then bit down on my shoulder. His warm tongue licked over the bite mark, as if branding me. Mia, don't you dare lie to me. I was always wondering why the uncle was into the villainous. But seeing her like this, like a little cat curled up on him, who wouldn't fall for that? Uncle is so scared of Mia leaving. He was ostracized by his family, and during his darkest times, just the thought of having someone at home was what kept him going. Mia's dad, so my own daughter means more to him than his brother? Let's not even talk about how, when Uncle's leg was first injured, someone was so afraid he'd lose hope that they sent their daughter over to cheer him up. The niece went from cheering him up to being his wife. But Mia's dad is a real one. No one else wanted to get involved with Uncle back then. I was stunned. My dad's original intention was for me to learn from Grant. I went through so much suffering during that time because of it. And now the pop-up comments were telling me I was just a toy to cheer him up. Is the money I give you not enough? I shook my head. I was just trying to earn a little extra to lessen your burden. I obviously wasn't going to tell him I wanted to start a company to scout for handsome men. If you want to play the stock market, I can teach you. Thanks, but I have absolutely no desire to learn. Having one stock market genius in the family is enough. I just want to cling to my uncle's leg while he makes the money and I spend it. But Grant wouldn't have it. He demanded that I analyze stock trends every day and present my findings. Tell me, what's the trend for this stock? I don't know. Try again. Smack. The ruler came down. Grant. I'm not a child. You can't hit me. That's right. If I couldn't answer, there was a punishment. A teacher disciplining a student would hit their palm. But Grant, he hit my. I was sitting cross-legged on an office chair, legs splayed out, a laptop on the desk. Grant sat in his wheelchair, holding a ruler, his fingers toying with the tassel at the end. He had never touched me so gently. Grant's face was calm as he meticulously listened to my nonsense. Sometimes he would frown slightly. If I said something wrong, a flicker of emotion would cross his cold, proud features. The ruler would come down without hesitation. Right now, only the ring on his finger proved I was his wife. Not just some headache of a student. I slumped onto the desk, whining, aren't you mad? Shouldn't you just give up and leave? A child untaught is the father's fault, a lesson not learned is the teacher's sloth. If you don't learn this today, I won't let you go. I grumbled as I lay on the desk, complaining endlessly. I had forgotten I was wearing a short skirt. Grant's Adam's apple bobbed. He tugged at the collar of his shirt, leaned his arms on his knees, and bent forward slightly. The ruler lifted my chin. Sit up straight. I finally realized and quickly sat up properly. Through his forward-leaning posture, I could see a tantalizing view. The line from his collarbone to his shoulder was still captivating. The ruler in Grant's hand, his serious expression. If I hadn't seen his leg, I would have actually believed he was seriously teaching me. I get it. For a perverted man, when his brain gets excited, certain other parts. My body went limp as I lay there. I remembered he had taught at a university for a few months before joining the company. His classes were always packed, with students flocking to see him for his looks. Yeah, he'd worn this exact suit several times. After class, a group of girls would always chatter around him. Professor, can I get your number? An idea sparked in my mind. I softened my voice. Professor, can you please let me go? Smack. The ruler came down again. The pain made me curse. Fine, I know. This stock, although it's down in the short term, will rebound in the long run. We can pull back part of our position now and buy back in when it starts to rise. Not bad. I rubbed my butt and glared at him. Old pervert. I actually knew the answer. I just didn't say it on purpose. Humph. Oh. Grant leaned in, intrigued. So, you actually wanted to be spanked, is that it? What kind of question is that? My face flushed red. Grant's ruler slid down my spine, stopping right at my tailbone. My whole body went weak, and I collapsed onto his lap. Professor, I was wrong. I promise I'll study hard next time. Grant looked down at me. Mia, you may not know this, but when I was a professor, no one dared to make me angry, and no one dared to waste my time. You're the first. As the cold ruler lifted the hem of my skirt, I knew. The professor was strict. When you made a mistake, there would be punishment. After a period of study, I finally started to get a handle on the volatile stock market. At the business banquet, I wore a strapless gold gown, its golden threads shimmering. Grant was in a modern Chinese-style suit with a dragon embroidered on the chest and a red silk shirt underneath. So refined, so cultured. Such a scoundrel. Grant, help me with the zipper. I knelt in front of him. His cool fingers lifted the hair from my neck, and the zipper was pulled up inch by inch. But he didn't let go right away. Instead, he leaned in and placed a kiss on the back of my neck. The soft touch sent a shiver through me. Is it done? Grant traced the kiss mark with his thumb. Behave at the party. I know. When we arrived at the banquet, people looked us over with curiosity. Didn't they say Grant never attends banquets because of his wheelchair? That's his little niece next to him. He probably came to keep an eye on her. Mia is a magnet for trouble. But she seems different. Her whole vibe has changed. Prettier? No, more composed. When my dad saw me, he clicked his tongue twice. Hanging around Grant, you're finally starting to look like a proper lady. Thanks for the compliment, Dad. Grant didn't like to drink, so I left him at the dessert table. Then I took the opportunity to find some big shots in the entertainment industry. From a distance, Grant watched me with a smile, a small piece of cake in his hand. Who gets it? These two are finally not doing something dirty. This scene is so heartwarming. I declare. Uncle is the best kind of guiding partner. The heiress seems to have unconsciously grown up just by being with him. The charm of an older partner is that he'll always indulge you emotionally and endlessly support you professionally. Of course, our uncle won't tolerate everything. If you dare betray him, he'll kill you. After collecting a few business cards, I was about done. But then I saw Grant talking to Sean. Grant was holding a glass of champagne from somewhere. He held the stem between his fingers, raised his hand, and was about to clink glasses with Sean. As he moved, his elegant wrist was exposed, revealing a string of jade beads. The necklace was clean and pure, and it looked better on his wrist than any other piece of jewelry. The dragon on his chest coiled with a powerful aura, his demeanor refined. Even though Grant was in a wheelchair, and even though he was the one raising his glass, it couldn't hide his air of authority. Sean sneered and didn't clink glasses. Understandable. From Grant's perspective, Sean was just a young punk 5 or 6 years his junior. A little arrogance was normal. But Grant didn't lower his glass. Instead, he raised it in my direction from across the room. I paused for a second, then raised my own glass and smiled at him. The color drained from Sean's face. Ha ha ha, the super casual reveal of the jade, the super casual long-distance toast with the heroine. Sean says nothing, he just keeps getting his ego bruised. LMAO, my sides are in orbit. Even though Uncle and Mia haven't gone public, Sean must have guessed something's up between them. In the original story, he should be flirting with the female lead right now, but who would have thought it would turn into this mess? I used to ship the domineering CEO and the innocent girl in a tragic romance, but then I fell for this uncle-niece literature. A healthy relationship is important, but a twisted one is just so much more exciting. Halfway through the banquet, I started feeling dizzy. I had probably gotten a little too excited after meeting a few executives. Without thinking much of it, I headed straight for the lounge upstairs in the hotel. But it wasn't long before I realized my whole body was getting hotter and hotter. It was just as agonizing as the time Sean forced me to drink that spiked wine. Then, I heard the lock on the door click open. "Who is it?" "It's me, Mia." Sean loosened his tie and slowly walked toward me. The door was slammed shut by a waiter behind him. "You, Peach, let go of me." Sean grabbed both my hands and forced me onto the bed. I kicked desperately at his crotch. But because of the drug, my struggles were useless. Sean's kisses fell all over me. I bit down hard on his shoulder, the taste of salt and iron filling my mouth. Why did I have to be the one to suffer through all this? But it was the version of me before I woke up who had done the drugging. That wasn't me. I grabbed the lamp from the bedside table and smashed it against Sean's head. In the struggle, I heard the door being kicked open. Grant stood in the doorway, radiating fury. He grabbed Sean by the collar and decked him with a single punch. The refined man's collar was slightly askew. His jaw was tight, his gaze ice cold, as if filled with shards of glass and burning fire. The rage in his eyes was a possessive madness. The hands Grant usually used for brewing tea and practicing calligraphy were now clenched into tight fists, raining down blows. "Gee, Grant." Grant threw Sean to the floor and turned to scoop me up from the bed. The moment I was in his arms, I clung tightly to his neck. His body was cooler than mine. "It hurts. Help me." Grant's breath hitched. He turned and ordered his bodyguards, "Call a doctor." At the hospital, they gave me a shot, and I finally calmed down. Grant sat by my bed, having ditched the wheelchair. I had lain here before. Except back then, he was still just my uncle, and I had just assaulted him. Last time, we could chalk it up to ethics and just give me a shot. But this time, "Uncle, don't tell me you can't perform." I thought a pervert like him would at least take the opportunity to torture me a little. "You think that drug is pleasant? Helping you is a small matter, but you not being able to handle it is a big one. Don't you know your own limits?" I guess that made sense. I didn't dare ask what he did to Sean. He was probably just getting revenge. Even though I wasn't the one who drugged him, who would believe me? This whole world was absurd. In the novel, the male lead actually drugs the villainess too, but it's just for revenge. I thought that part would be gone since the plot went off the rails, but here it is. And the female lead has changed too. She was supposed to be kind and lovely, but this time she teamed up with the male lead to drug her. What? I was shocked. The plot had collapsed, and it seemed no one was in control anymore. But I could understand the female lead wanting revenge. Who would want to be slept with by the male lead out of the blue and then be forced into a tragic, angsty plotline? It just hit me. The female lead isn't a good person either. Back when Uncle saved Mia, he specifically had bodyguards stand guard at the male lead's door, and a doctor was on the way. But the female lead burst into the room, locked the door from the inside, and shouted, "I've locked all the bad guys out." She was pretending to save him but was actually just securing her position. She's not an innocent flower, she's a pure, scheming bitch. So that's how it was. Grant had thought of so much for me. I looked at him. His clothes were slightly disheveled, but his aura was undiminished. The knuckles on his hand were red and scraped. I licked my pale lips, took his hand, and brought it to my mouth for a kiss. Grant tilted his head, studying me, trying to figure out what I was up to. Finally, he smiled. "The hospital is a sacred place. You've got some nerve. How is this couple still so steamy even when they're trying to be wholesome?" Mia's eyes are downcast, and Uncle is so excited he's about to explode. "Your pale lips touching the wound you got fighting for me, that reverent kiss is the highest crown for your love." After I rested up in the hospital, Grant took me home and then went straight to the office. Only then did I find out. This wasn't just an act of revenge against me. It was also a retaliation against Grant by his eldest brother. They had joined forces, aiming straight for my uncle. If he had gone to the office that night, he wouldn't have been able to save me. If he had gone to save me, the company was bound to take a hit. But I trusted him. In the original plot, Grant was the only villain who could stand against the male lead's plot armor. Now that the protagonist was falling, it was our time to rule as the villainous couple. My new company was also gradually going public. The first artist I signed was Chris. Now, I saw him purely through the loving eyes of a benefactor seeing their cash cow. What Chris thought didn't matter. After all, I was the one who gave him his big break. I got him his first role in a short drama, pulling him out of the world of indie modeling. Because he was handsome, with a unique, naturally curly hair that was rare in the entertainment industry, and because the script was well chosen, he really blew up. The short drama, filmed in 38 days, garnered over 100 million views on a short video platform. Riding the wave of his popularity, I landed him the role of the second male lead in a low-budget series. He was really lucky to have me as a boss. Once the company team was assembled, I took everyone, along with my cash cow, to a restaurant that you couldn't get into even if you threw money at it. At 10 o'clock that night, Grant sent me a message, "Company crisis averted. Waiting for you at home." This was cause for celebration. That bastard Sean had finally been taken down. I couldn't help but have a couple more drinks. Everyone from the company was excited, and most of them were drunk, passed out all over the place. The few who were still sober took the chance to head home. As I collapsed into my seat, Chris whispered my name. "Mia." "What?" Like a switch had been flipped, I shot up. I grabbed a bottle of wine and started chugging it. He tried to stop me, but I pushed him away. "Don't bother me. Your sister is happy today." I pushed Chris down into a chair, where he sat frozen, his ears bright red. I clapped him on the shoulder, leaned in, and stared at him, declaring righteously, "Don't stop me. Your brother-in-law is such a health nut, always drinking that stupid tea and never letting me drink." "Brother-in-law, Mia, are you really married?" My vision was blurry, and my head was swimming. So of course, I didn't notice that Chris's eyes were also glazed over, watching me, mesmerized. Thank God I'm not the other man. Otherwise, where would that leave you? Chris suppressed his disappointment. Completely oblivious, I tilted my head back to drink the red wine in my hand. But I was so drunk that I staggered and spilled wine all over Chris. "Oops, sorry. You should go clean that up." I sat at the table, entertaining myself for half an hour. I glanced at the time and realized it had been 2 hours since Grant's message. Strange. Usually, he'd check in on me every 30 minutes. Why was he so quiet today? I stumbled downstairs. On the way, I heard a couple of waiters whispering, "Mia is hooking up with a new actor." The news is all over the trending topics. I can't believe I'm getting the gossip this close up for the first time. What blew up? I blew up. I turned to the waiters and said, "Thanks, guys." Outside the restaurant, Grant's car was waiting. The back door was open, and a bodyguard stood beside it. When he saw me, he bowed slightly and extended a hand. Good to know he sent someone to pick me up. By the time I got home, I had sobered up a little. The living room lights were off. I looked around, confused. Suddenly, I saw Grant sitting on the sofa. He had his legs crossed and was still wearing his black suit. A pot of freshly brewed tea sat on the table. From the moment I walked in, he'd lifted his heavy eyelids to watch me. The room was dim, and he blended into the darkness, so I couldn't see the thick, suffocating gloom in his eyes. I walked over. "What are you doing sitting here?" The alcohol had made me incredibly thirsty. I casually picked up a cup of tea and took a sip. Why is this so strong? It's so bitter. And it's cold. Don't you dislike strong tea? Then would Mia be so kind as to brew me a new cup? His voice was deep, and my mind was still sluggish. So the words that reached my ears sounded even heavier. Oh, Kay. Grant lowered his eyes, his gaze resting gently on the top of my head. However, beneath that gentle surface, the mask was starting to crack. The tear grew wider, gradually revealing the terrifying desire in his eyes. At that moment, I still had no idea. I knelt on the floor, one hand on Grant's knee, the other fumbling in the dark. Where is it? In the drawer under the coffee table. Be careful not to grab the wrong thing, Mia. It's over. It's so over. We've shouted 100 times not to look for it, but she can't see our comments. Can't help her at all. She's literally looking for tea. I felt a small box. Hee, found it. I held it up triumphantly. Good girl, Mia. Open it. I tore open the small box to make tea. Wait, this isn't right. This is supposed to be. My head suddenly felt dizzy. But in that instant, the world spun. Grant had pulled me onto his lap. I saw a photo on the sofa. It was a blurry picture, and the subjects looked like me and Chris. I think I'm in trouble. Grant picked up the cold tea and took a large gulp. His dark eyes never left me. You should drink less of that. Strong tea has theophylline and caffeine. It can make you agitated. I was scared. I wanted to run. Grant's hand clamped around my waist. Mia, was it fun pouring wine on him? And no, that's cold. The next moment, dark tea cascaded down, running from my neck downwards. My dress was soaked. I shivered, a sob escaping my lips. Grant, you bastard. But Grant wasn't finished with me. The yellow tea seeped into the gray sofa, creating a large, dark stain. I don't want censorship. I'm a premium member. First time seeing a big boss use tea as a prop. Is this the sexual tension of a mature older man? Say what you want, but this is so hot. Who understands the chemistry between uncle and tea? Does anyone know the color of the tea? It's yellow, yes. I definitely don't have any other meaning in mind. I was so mad I refused to talk to Grant. Not only did he not tell me to deal with the online drama when the story broke, but he was also so mean. You were so drunk, do you think I could have woken you up? Grant had someone check the restaurant's security footage. The footage had already been destroyed. I hired a private investigator, and with the help of the police, it was easy to find the person who took the pictures. The original long video had already been deleted through special channels. A professional team tried to recover it but couldn't crack the encryption. It seemed whoever was framing me was determined to deal me a heavy blow. The online hate was relentless. It didn't really affect me, but what about my cash cow's future career? Even though my investment in him had already paid off, I didn't want to see a rising star fall like this. Maybe I can try. I studied programming in college. While Chris worked on cracking the file, I had my company's best PR team prepare a statement. They were to spin this into a positive, no matter what. Besides, nothing even happened between us. But what I didn't expect was that after Chris decrypted the video, he didn't give it to the PR team first. He posted the original video directly online. It was over. My cash cow was done for. The online discussion exploded. I thought this was going to be a juicy ethics drama, but the original video is hilarious. An industry insider revealed that when Mia was in danger once, Grant shot up from his wheelchair. Damn, a medical miracle. I've been shipping this CP ever since. And their uncle and niece. When Uncle's leg was injured, no one wanted anything to do with him, but Mia's dad stuck by him. The two families were as close as could be. Later, when Mia's family fell on hard times, Uncle pulled them up and even married the heiress. A redemption arc? I'm in. Uncle and niece? Forbidden love. I'm eating this up. I heard it was Sean Song, the heir of the Song family, who was behind this. This is the second time. The first time was apparently suppressed by the uncle. I kind of feel bad for Chris. This kid is handsome, can act, and has a good character. He knows it's wrong to like a married woman, so he doesn't interfere or get clingy. Such a good boy. Starting today, I'm his mom fan. The kid studied programming in college and is a total pro. He's the one who decrypted the video, and he didn't hide anything. He risked his career and just sent it out to the whole world. And so, thank God I'm not the other man, otherwise where would that leave my sister? Became an internet catchphrase. Well. This kid had risen from the ashes. His future was bright. Grant, however, was unimpressed. You think being the other man is that easy? You don't even like him. So melodramatic. I took his hand. You're right. I like my uncle the most. And with that, the Song family's stock plummeted, and the male lead's plot armor was gone for good. The world was clear. I could finally sleep in until the world went dark. The bedroom, with its blackout curtains, was pitch black. When I woke up, a sliver of bright light shone through a gap in the curtains, casting a diagonal beam across the blanket. Dust motes danced in the air. The afternoon bedroom was perfectly still. I reached out my hand and caught the light. The world's halos come in 10 million shapes, visible and tangible. There is no fixed definition, only an eternal theme. Perhaps in my eyes, it was me, spoiled by my father's excessive love, being guided by Grant's affection. Perhaps in his eyes, it was during those dark days when I, with all my arrogant bluster, drove away the relatives who came to provoke him, standing as my own small beacon of light. Quantum entanglement, fluctuating and leaping, creating an eternal constant that will never fade. Suddenly, a large hand reached up, forcing its way between my fingers. From behind me, a deep, hoarse voice spoke, filled with pleasure. You're awake? Bonus scene. Grant, your daughter drugged someone. Mia's dad? That's ridiculous. Is she hurt? That boy, under the influence. Grant, no. Mia's dad, good. Grant, but she drank the spiked drink too. Grant, I saved her. She slept with me. Mia's dad, oh. But you're her uncle. Grant, Dad.